the Australian International Food Security Centre is accelerating the delivery and adoption of agricultural innovations for food security. The centre does this by positioning itself at the interface between research and development providers. These innovations include technologies, enabling policies, and improved farming practices. The centre works through collaborative partnerships. These partnerships are working to help understand and overcome the barriers to adoption of agricultural innovations and to address research gaps in delivering food security. Based in the headquarters of the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research in Canberra, the AIFSC has a global focus, but initial emphasis will be on improving food security in southern and eastern sub-Saharan Africa.
When the centre was first announced, we thought it was really important to go to Africa and to consult on what the priorities of the centre should be. And we then took those priorities and developed our strategy around that.
The centre's goal is to help smallholder farmers and other poor households access sufficient, accessible and nutritious food. One proven way to improve food security is through agricultural research. Targeted investments in research and, importantly, the adoption of research outputs can make a real difference to people's lives. It can lift them out of poverty. After months of consultation with Australian, African and international stakeholders, a strategy has been developed focusing on 5 thematic areas: sustainable and productive farming systems, food markets, value chains and social systems, food nutrition and safety, communications and knowledge management, and education, training and capacity building. The consultations also led to some initial projects and scoping studies under the new strategy.
Hi, I'm John Dickson. I work for the Australian Centre of International Agricultural Research, and I work with the Australian International Food Security Centre in developing projects and managing those projects while they're implementing, especially in the area of crops and conservation agriculture, and bridging the gap between the research on crops and the adoption by farmers of those technologies. And the Adoption Pathways project focuses on understanding better why farm women and men decide to adopt technologies and what additional support they need, perhaps to adopt promising technologies like credit, like better knowledge, stronger extension, working in farmers groups, access to markets, and so on. We're bringing in a lot of experience from South Asia into Africa, especially related to two-wheel tractors, which have underpinned quite an agricultural revolution in Bangladesh. And we've got a project that's under formulation at the moment that will be the first project to bring two-wheel tractor mechanisation for conservation agriculture to small farmers in Africa.
But seeds alone cannot do the job. It has to be something that is complete. John was talking about two-wheeled tractors earlier today, and that will go a long way in reducing the drudgery, particularly for women.
The question, of course, is how to work with farmers so that they can adopt those two-wheel tractors. The way to scale out and popularise the two-wheel tractors is through small-scale commercial operations in Africa. We can see that the acceleration of uptake of research results needs to be spread much more widely through the region to different categories of farmers, and this will require different types of partnerships, different local partnerships and novel ways of working that need to be tested. That there would be ample scope and a great need for other investors to join along with the Food Security Centre.
Farmers can no longer wait for solutions to come to them. They've got to be part of addressing the problems.
Hi, I'm Baxter. I'm the Horticultural Research Program Manager for the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research. So this project is really about increasing the nutrition and the income of farmers in a number of Western African countries through vegetable-based farming systems, particularly peri-urban vegetable production. The project has a number of different thrusts, so it's essentially about increasing productivity, growing the vegetables better, It's about looking at new varieties, particularly of indigenous vegetables, and because of that, it has a very high focus on nutrition because these indigenous vegetables are really high in nutrition, in minerals and vitamins, often many times higher than introduced vegetables. There's income generation because what we're able to do is to replace some of the traditional crops, cereals and grains, with high-value crops like horticulture. So there's that generation. And then because of the nature of production, it's also really good for gender. So it's a big employer of women and potentially of youth that comes into the city for unemployed youth. So it has a lot of benefits for peri-urban horticulture. It's a very important piece of work. It's a new area for ACR and we're quite excited by it.
Hello, I'm Tony Bartlett. I'm the Forestry Research Program Manager at the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research. The project that we're supporting is called Trees for Food Security. It's all about enhancing food security and livelihoods for rural poor people in Eastern Africa by incorporating trees in farming systems. This project incorporates both biophysical research and socio-economic research. The biophysical research is trying to work out what tree species grow best in what agroecological zones so that we can advise the farmers what trees they should be planting in their farming systems. In terms of the social science, what we really want to understand is what are some of the barriers to farmers adopting trees in their farming systems, and then what types of extension technologies work well in what circumstances, to try to get the farmers to understand how the trees can enhance the productivity of their crop systems. So if we can increase the crop yields in those areas by a factor of 2 or 3, which is quite possible based on previous research, then we will enhance the food security of those people. And in addition, the tree products also enable the farmers to increase either their livelihoods or just make life easier by producing fuel wood, because you need to remember that more than half the people who live in these areas depend totally on wood products for their energy source. One of the benefits of this project and why it's good for the Food Security Centre is that the governments in the partner countries have already identified the need to implement large-scale evergreen agricultural programs. This is a really good project for the Food Security Centre because it's not just about research, but it's really got a very big focus on adoption of the research outputs, and we can achieve that because we're working with the national extension programs.
So we look to Australia's experience in this area in particular as a model opportunity to gain further momentum in Africa's food security efforts.
These early projects and scoping studies are producing early gains for the Centre and provide examples of the types of diverse projects that will help achieve food security. For example, the Family Poultry and Crop Integration Project builds off many research efforts already undertaken in the area, including poultry disease vaccination efforts. When vaccination projects started, 5 chickens were the most that anyone kept. Now it's 150. Villages are forming co-ops to market eggs, and farming families are getting the benefits of better nutrition. The AIFSC is aiming to spread results like this beyond research trial situations. The AIFSC relies on long-term collaborative partnerships to achieve its mission of accelerating the delivery and adoption of innovations by smallholder farmers. The Centre is engaging and forging new partnerships with a broad range of national and international organisations. From researchers through to delivery and extension workers, the national country governments, private sector, community groups, farmer groups and civil society. This approach encourages new partnerships and innovative responses to complex problems. The future looks bright for Africa. A green revolution is underway and agricultural development sits at the top of the agenda, supported by African and international public and private sector organisations together with Africa's smallholder farmers.